Santo. Santi. Say hi. Hey guys, good morning, happy Monday, and welcome to my weekly cosmic weather forecast, where I sit down with my cup of tea on Monday morning and invite you to do the same as we discuss the upcoming cosmic weather events for the week as they relate to astrology. And last week was really intense for a lot of people. I think that Venus-Pluto opposition that we talked about in the last video really set off some alarms for a lot of people, particularly within relationships. I know that a lot of people had things within their relationships with another person really triggered last week. There's been a lot of tension within relationships, but with any Pluto transit, Pluto is transformation. So there is also this element of growth, and we come through that portal seeing things completely differently. Which can be very healthy and positive moving forward. So hopefully many of you had that experience. You may still be going through those transitions and that transformation right now. And to be honest, we do have some transits this week that are a little bit difficult as well. But we do start out Monday, June 11th with a pretty chill day. We start out with the moon in Taurus. Going to sextile Venus and Neptune and trine Pluto. So Tuesday's pretty chill. I think we can kind of get a breath after a pretty intense week last week and hopefully find some stillness. Tuesday the 12th, we're going to have Mercury go into Cancer, where it will be for a while. It was in Gemini before. So here we have a pretty big shift, the first of a few over the week. With Mercury, which is the planet of our logical thought processes, the way that we take in incoming information, the way that we process it with our mind, with that moving into Cancer, we're going to have, I feel like this is going to soften our edges a little bit. When Mercury is in Gemini, there's so much information coming in. There's so many things to do and so much mind chatter that it can feel overwhelming. I think that a lot of us have so much on our plate right now. And with Mercury going into Cancer, it's going to soften our edges a little bit, and it's going to allow us to get out of our head and into our heart a little bit more. This is going to encourage us to tap into the emotional aspect of the things that we're thinking about. This is going to have us feeling a little bit more instinctual and wanting to talk about feelings a little bit more rather than just the data aspect. And this does have a psychic element to it as well. One thing to note with Cancer, the archetype is that Cancer can be a little bit defensive. Cancer is very sensitive, and when they feel themselves being attacked or come at, they can snap and get a little bit defensive. So we can see a little bit of this in our communications with Mercury and Cancer. So wanting to be wary of that within our communications. But other than that, it's a little bit softer than the electric feeling of Mercury in Gemini. So yeah, we're also going to be, with Mercury in Cancer, we're really looking for quality over quantity. So our communications are going to have a little bit more substance to them, I feel. It's going to be less about chit-chat and more about, like I said, discussing feelings and emotions and things that are on our heart rather than our mind. Taking us into Wednesday the 13th, which is where we're going to have the new moon for the month. And this is a new moon in Gemini. So first thing we notice is that this new moon, we're going to have Mercury, now in Cancer, sextiling Uranus in Taurus. We have Mercury and Uranus sextile. This can be lightning bolt flashes of information. This can be sudden information that we weren't expecting. And it can be really powerful insights. So we can be looking out for those. And as with any new moon, a new moon is the beginning of a new cycle. It's an amazing time to set some intentions for the lunar cycle ahead, which will culminate on the full moon. So Gemini is about communication. So I feel like there might be a lot of us who have had something to say or express to another person in our life. We might feel compelled to initiate that conversation or that communication during this new moon. And we might feel as if we can communicate something that we've had on our heart or our mind in an entirely new way, because many of us, especially after a week like last week, we've come to some new conclusions. We have more information than we did before. We have more emotional maturity than we did before. There has been so much growth. So if you've been waiting for the right moment to initiate a conversation, to clear the air or get something off your chest, this could be a really powerful and positive day to write that letter or send that email and begin that exchange. And because Mercury will be squaring Chiron during this new moon, Chiron is the wounded healer. We've talked about this before, but Chiron is essentially considered our own personal shaman, because it's an opportunity for us to face a wound that is coming up, heal the wound, and walk away from it in a much healthier place mentally and otherwise. So Mercury square Chiron, this is conversations about a wound, something that is hurting at this time, essentially in a very basic way. Yeah, something that hurts, wanting to be talked about, wanting to be hashed out, and wanting to be expressed. And you might find that it's the right time to have that dialogue at last. Also, on Wednesday the 13th, we will have Venus entering Leo. And we've had Venus in Cancer for a while, so we've been talking about how Venus, which is the planet of love and beauty and the things that we're attracted to, when it was in Cancer, we were really looking for our security needs being met. Hopefully, through that transit, we've been able to do so and get some of those things figured out. And now, with Venus moving into Leo, we're going to have our what we're attracted to coming through that Leo lens, which is, I think, the most positive thing that we have going on for the week. And this will be a transit into July. So it's going to be going on for a while. And with Venus moving into Leo, I think the most positive aspect of Leo is this desire to be seen for our gifts and really shine and really illuminate from this place of, this is what I have to offer the world that is only uniquely mine, and I'm ready to be seen. I'm ready to project it out onto the screen of existence and be honored for that, and not be afraid to be honored. I know that a lot of us struggle with accepting compliments and feeling like we need to be humble all the time, but Leo is really not about that. Leo is about, no, I love myself and I love what I do and I love what I share, and I want to share it with you so that, you know, I can essentially fulfill my mission on this planet, which is to share our creative gifts. So with Venus going into Leo, I think that it's an amazing time to really shine and creatively express or, you know, show an aspect of yourself that maybe you haven't thus far, or just, you know, sort of turn the brightness up on that area of your life and really see it illuminated and see it expressed very beautifully. So then we go into Thursday and we'll have a moon in Cancer, and the moon is going to oppose Saturn on Thursday, and this can be a little bit somber. The moon's also going to conjunct Mercury, so both Mercury and the moon in Cancer conjunct. So we can be feeling a little bit somber because of the Saturn opposition, and also because Mercury and the moon are both in Cancer. Cancer's highly sensitive, emotional. This can be like, you know, coming to tears easier than normal, or feeling a little bit moody, etc. And we also have Venus square Uranus on Thursday. So I want to give a shout out to those of us, or those of you that are in relationships, to maybe give some extra attention to protecting your relationship this week during that transit, because Uranus is this explosive, kind of zany, out of nowhere, freedom-loving archetype, and it's going to be squaring Venus, which is, for many of us, our relationships, are the things that we hold dear and that we love. So on Thursday, if you or your partner is really needing some space or sudden need for freedom, possibly going into this week, anticipating that and opening ourselves up to that possibility rather than constricting out of fear or what have you, and, you know, dealing with subsequent issues, and just knowing that it's in the stars. And if there's a sudden shift in the energy of a relationship, that it could be a result of this, and maybe give the partner a little bit of space that day. Friday, once again, the moon in Cancer is going to oppose Pluto. This is another, you know, somewhat somber transit. There can be a little bit of inner turmoil of some kind. And again, we're going to have a Chiron transit on Friday. And this is going to be Venus trining Chiron. So this is a little bit more positive. This is Venus working with this wounded healer archetype, which is, you know, trying to heal a wound out of love, which is really, really beautiful. And then we have Mercury opposing Saturn on the same day. So Mercury communication opposing Saturn. This can be serious talks, you know, conversations within our relationships about serious issues. You know, and this doesn't have to be a bad thing, but really coming to a grounded place of understanding that maybe there are some words that need to be shared, possibly a result of an email or a text or a conversation that happened during a new moon. I don't know. So I think that it's really a week coming off of that crazy week we had last week, where there are things coming up that do need to be talked about. There are things stirring within that do need to be expressed. And we have a lot of cosmic support to do that this week. And then Saturday, Sunday, we have the moon in Leo, and the moon in Leo will conjunct Venus, which is, it's a beautiful transit. So hopefully over the weekend we can, you know, relax into some beautiful romantic Leo energy, go out and do something fun. Leo is about adornment as well, so you might feel like adorning yourself and going out and being social and you know, going to a show or what have you. So yes, guys, that wraps it up. Thank you so much for watching. I hope the lighting was okay in this video. I think it's a bit bright, but yes, I will see you guys in the next video. If you'd like a natal chart reading, you can reach out to me. My information will be down below, and I will see you guys soon.